I love when they try to give Trump a softball and he's like, I'm not going to hit it. He does this with Hannity. I mean, you wouldn't be a dictator, right? Well, I'd be a dictator on day one. I told Hannity, you're sitting right next to him, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I just told him that, right? And now Laura Ingram's like,
Donald Trump went on Fox News for a softball interview with Laura Ingraham, and Laura Ingraham gave Donald Trump the opportunity to say that he wouldn't go after his political enemies if he is elected president again. Of course, Donald Trump was completely incapable of taking her softball question and giving a decent answer. Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks broke all this down. We're going to take a look at clips from Fox News as well as clips from the Young Turks. I'll share my thoughts as well. Let's get into it.
How will you restore faith in our justice system? A lot of people will say, well, he's just going to do to them what they did to him and get back at them. And
a lot of people say that's what should happen.
Well,
you want to know the truth.
Right. Well, but I think,
I love when they try to give Trump a softball and he's like, I'm not going to hit it. He does this with Hannity. I mean, you wouldn't be a dictator, right? Well, I'd be a dictator on day one. I told Hannity, you're sitting right next to him, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I just told him that, right? And now Laura Ingram's like, but you're not going to strike back against your political opponents and arrest them for no reason, right? And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, some people think we should. And the crowd starts to get crazy. So, well, look, let's be fair. There's a second half to this answer. Maybe he turns it around and goes, oh, no, of course not. Or
spoiler alert, he doesn't.
Does he get egged on by the crowd? Let's watch.
Punitively using government institutions is what got us in this mess in the first place. And our town hall that we did back in February, one of the lines that really resonated, I think, with people is when you said, my revenge is going to be my success.
Yeah, well, I do believe that, but I will say this, they have started a terrible precedent. We've never had this. We do have that in third world countries, banana republics, a lot in South America where they go after somebody politically that's an opponent. We never had it to any great extent. Really, almost at all.
But you're not going to do that. When you get in office, you're going to look at all your political enemies.
No, I want to make this the most successful country in the world. That's what I want to do.
But really, please say you're not going to do that. I gave you the correct answer that you gave last time. Instead of asking you a question, I actually gave you the answer. All you have to do, knucklehead, is say yes. We're trying to do propaganda here. A lot of undecided voters are spooked out by you constantly going, I'm going to be a dictator. Oh, I'm going to get them. Oh, I'm going to arrest them. So can you just say here so that we can all pretend you're not going to do it? Hey, of course I wouldn't arrest my political opponents for no reason. Easiest answer in the world. He just can't spit it out. So now you know, but okay, you could pretend you don't know. But you know what? That's what people have been doing for this entire time. That's why we started playing Trump brackets. 64 the worst things he's ever done.
Yeah.
Yes.
So look, the notion of going after your political opponents prosecutorially would make sense if you know your political opponents have done things that break the law. And by the way, that's certainly possible. Like, we know how dirty politicians are. So is it unheard of for Democratic politicians to have some skeletons in their closets? Not unheard of. In fact, there are all sorts of Democratic politicians on a local level right now who are being investigated by the FBI, who are facing very serious indictments in regard to corruption schemes. You know, you guys get the picture. But like, the idea of Trump being able to just prosecute any Democrat, even though they haven't committed a crime, is ridiculous. Like,
and Ana Kasparian's right about what she's saying. And when Donald Trump talks about banana republics and all these kind of things going after their political enemies, that's not what is happening here. They're not going after, in the case of Donald Trump, it's not going after a political enemy for no reason. This is going after a guy who has committed all kinds of crimes in Donald Trump. So yeah, we haven't typically had this in our country, that you've had a president be prosecuted over and over again, because we haven't typically had presidents committing crimes in the way that Donald Trump has. So that's the difference. Of course, Donald Trump, we all know this after however many years of dealing with this moron on the political stage. He's the biggest crybaby in the world. He's the biggest crybaby. I mean, has anybody, not in my lifetime, have I seen a political figure who is as big a whiner and a crybaby as what Donald Trump is? Let me know in the comments if you can think of anybody who's a bigger crybaby than Donald Trump. I mean, it's hard for me to even, there's a lot of these other MAGA Republicans who love to whine and cry as well, but it's really hard for me to come up with a close second to Donald Trump. But as we know, everything is about him. So of course, if he gets reelected, he's going to go after his quote-unquote political enemies. And like Cenk Uygur is saying here, Laura Ingraham and these other Fox News hosts do this over and over again. They try to set him up with the softest of softballs, and he's just incapable of doing it. The guy cannot be presidential. Everything is about him and about his revenge and his grievances.
So we still have a justice system in this country.
Such as it is. That's why I'm worried about Trump. Look, guys, we often say on the show, criticize Democrats and Republicans. And so, and I criticize Democrats for not doing nuance sometimes and going, no, you got to go strictly party line. You can't veer from the party line. But for Republicans, guys, you got to at least understand simple concepts like, yeah, if someone broke the law and they happen to be your political opponent, we're not going to stop you. For example, we're not going to complain about it. Let's say that Trump was president instead of Biden, and his Justice Department went after Senator Bob Menendez, who's a Democrat from New Jersey. I would give them a standing ovation. I wouldn't be like
100%. Cenk Uygur is completely right about this. This is the problem with team politics, where the people on team R think their people do no wrong, and Team D is inherently evil and are the cause of all the problems in the world, and vice versa. That gets us nowhere. If they've committed crimes, to me, it shouldn't matter what letter is next to their name, D or R or whatever else, prosecute them. But MAGA can't see that. They think it's only the Democrats having any type of wrongdoing or committing any crimes or anything. And of course, in their mind, Trump is innocent of everything and everything is a witch hunt because that's what their God King has told them.
Oh my God, it's a Democrat deep state. Trump's trying to politically no, the guy's corrupt. He's got gold bullion coming out of his jacket pockets and falling out all over his closet and stuff, right? You want to go after Eric Adams or Cuellar down in Texas, etc., for bribes they might have taken from foreign governments. Have at it, Hoss. We're not telling you don't do that. And when Democrats didn't prosecute Trump in the beginning, why do you think they didn't prosecute him in the beginning? Because they're like, oh, the elites never prosecute the elites, right? Because they're worried that it might turn on them. But if you say, hey, let's prosecute someone, whether they did something or not, oh, they did it to us, is not a real thing. That's just you being spiteful. And yes, undermining democracy when you go, let's just arrest someone because we don't like them politically, and we think they did it to us. That's not a thing you could prove in court. No, you did it to us is not evidence you could present in a court of law. Come on, guys, do better, be better than this.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, both sides have issues with that, and especially the Republicans. Keep it real.
Okay, in the interest of saving time, go
on. All
ahead.
right, so we'll get back to, okay. So to do Trump rackets, we're down to the Sweet 16. These are all bad, and we need your help in the votes as much as.
And this is one thing to me that no matter how you feel about the Young Turks with Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian, I know a lot of people on the left are upset with them right now because they feel like they're taking this turn to the right. But to me, particularly with Cenk, it has always been about being fair in terms of if a Democrat does something wrong, they should be prosecuted for it. If they do something illegal, they should be prosecuted for it. If they're they're all taking money from donors. But if it's the Democrats taking money from XYZ, bring that all to light. If it's Democrats doing insider trading, bring that all to light. But Donald Trump is a completely different level of corruption compared to what we've seen most of our lives and most of what us have seen in the United States over the last several decades. And we've not seen politicians, I guess maybe since Nixon. I wasn't around for that. People who were alive during the Nixon years, maybe you can let us know in the comments, but we haven't seen someone who was so focused on grievances and everybody's out to get him and going after his enemies and all of this like Donald Trump is. And these pundits on the right, pundits and politicians, Laura Ingraham, politicians like Nikki Haley, are beside themselves because I don't know why they haven't learned this by now, but they can't rein Donald Trump in. He's not going to act like a normal politician, and that's what appeals to MAGA, I guess. But he's not going to act like a normal politician in terms of not being out for vengeance and not being able to keep from saying insane things that might keep him from getting elected. But what do you think? Do you agree with Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian, their assessment here on this short little interview with Laura Ingraham on Fox News with Donald Trump? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. Comment about Cenk Uygur, Donald Trump, Laura Ingraham, Fox News, Ana Kasparian, anything that you want to comment on. I love to read your comments. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. That helps me to grow the channel. I'm growing really quickly. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, because that can help me to continue to grow more. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.